Olha, que guay, que vaya, se pone que no va esto en pues en la danza.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? I need us to confirm you can hear me. Good morning, everyone. Jonathan, good morning to you, sir. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us. Can we confirm you can hear me and that the audio is loud and clear? All right, Kenny, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for joining. Victor, thank you. Good morning. Thank you for joining. I believe the audio is great, right? You can hear me loud and clear. All right, very good. All right, thank you very much. Let's get right to it. Good morning once again. Good morning, ladies. Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, traders as well. And, again, if today is the first time you're joining us, you're joining us for the very first time today. Good morning to you. You're welcome, and it's great to have you join us today. Right? It's great to have you join us. Okay. Um, Of course, this is our morning market review, MMR, all right? And as a reminder, on this forum every day, we get to look at what's going on in the markets in terms of mental and technical setups, uh, and for trade opportunities for today, and even assets that we can add to our watch list for the rest of the week as well. Okay, so we do this with the hope that we'll be able to pick a few entries and trade ideas for today and for the rest of the week as well. All right, without further ado, let's get right to it. And usually, we start with the majors, and from there, we start examining other pairs as well. Okay. Again, pairs for trade opportunities and pairs we can add to our watch list for potential trade setups. Okay. And I always mention this that uh, we also do this with the hope that when you have listened long enough, you are also able to come up with your own profitable strategies that gives you an edge over the markets. All right, that gives you an edge over the markets. Okay, so right about now, I'm going to uh, share my screen so that we can see the trading platform. Um, I don't think we have much for today in terms of fundamentals. Let's see. Right. Almost blank. 3 p.m. We have European Central Bank President Christine Lagarde speaking. All right. Uh, not much today in terms of fundamentals. Okay, so I'm going to switch to the trading platform right away. Just a second. Okay. All right. So this is the dollar index. This is the USD index. All right. Again, I like to start from the dollar index to understand the direction of the dollar itself so that I can easily apply this to the rest of the major pairs like Euro USD, Pound USD, and other assets as well. Okay, especially the major pairs with USD as one of the currencies. Okay, all right. So this is the USD index, and of course, you would agree with me. It has been in a strong downtrend, and currently, uh, it's sitting at this major support at around 98. Okay, now the major support level for this reason. We've seen multiple touches at that level previously, okay, at that 98 price level, like I said. I'm going to highlight it in a minute. It's right here. Okay, so I just changed the color to make it more obvious. All right, so we've seen these reactions in the past, okay? This is a triple bottom, right? Okay, I'm going to go back to it. Right. So we got one here, the other one right here, and then the third one right here, and then price pushed higher from this level. Okay. Now currently price is back at the same 98 level. Okay. So the price is back at this same 98 level. Okay. And of course for a long time now, it's been in a downtrend. All right. It has now found support at this 98 price level that supported trends multiple times in the past. Okay, so that's why that level is quite significant for me. All right, it supported price back in March 2022, supported price. Okay, this was March 10, March 16, and even end of March. Okay, giving us that triple or top, and then price pushed higher from that level got to almost 115. Okay. So currently, price is now back at the same 98 level. All right. And of course, it's possible that this will be the end of this downtrend. All right. It's pretty much possible. Okay. So it's possible that from this 98 price level now, this major support, we start to see a series of uh, higher lows and higher highs for this 98 level. That's a possibility. Okay, but until we see that, okay, we still treat this as a downtrend, all right? We still treat this as a downtrend. But even though it's still aggressively bearish, we also cannot ignore this major support level. Okay, it's possible that this is the end of the downtrend, and then, like I said, we start seeing series of higher lows and highs from this bottom. All right, and it's also a possibility that eventually price takes out this 98 level, and then the next support level will be 95. Okay, so this is a critical level for the dollar index right now. This 98 support level. Okay, it's a critical level. We may see some correction from this level. All right, and if this level holds a support, then we can begin to expect some correction. All right, towards 99.6. You remember that we had eyes on 99.6 for some time now. We've had eyes on 99.6, and eventually price took out the 99.6 level, and then it has now found support at 98. Okay, so if this level, if this major critical support level holds as support, like I said, we can begin to expect some correction towards 99.6 and maybe bullish continuation from there. However, in the event that this fails to hold, if this fails to hold, of course, that would smell more trouble for the dollar. And then, in which case, we can expect a further decline, like I said, to around this price level 95. But first, we need to see a sustained break below this 98 level. So currently, price is sitting at a major support level, which is critical to the price of the dollar index, okay, which is critical, all right? So from this level now, we start to get bullish patterns from this support level, okay? We start getting a bullish pattern from this support level. Then we get further correction towards 99.6, like I said, all right? But this is one that I'm really interested in. I'll be watching it for how this plays out eventually, because of course it's going to present fantastic trade opportunity in the event that this is the bottom and then it starts to rise from this support. Likes of Euro USD, the Pound USD will start to decline if this becomes bullish from here. All right. So that's one reason I have eyes on this critical support level at 98. All right. Let's see what it looks like on 4 hours. Okay. Still have that 98 level. We send this bottom here. We have a potential second bottom right there. Okay. On 4 hours time frame. How about for 1 hour? Okay. Okay, again on 1 hour, we have this double bottom pattern has now formed. And then we also have a bullish engulfing candle right here, all right? And this bullish engulfing candle has now closed above the 98 level, all right? Closed above the 98 level. This is 30 minutes. This is 30 minutes time frame. Again, we see the double bottom right here, and then we see some bullish continuation after the double bottom pattern. All right. So as it is right now, we may see some retracements to fill in some of these long green candles, fill it in, and then get bullish from there. Okay. So on these lower time frames, 30 minutes, 15 minutes, now we expect this 98 level to hold as support. All right. Expect this 98 level to hold as support. So moving forward, we see a retracement back to 98 support if it holds, and then price gets bullish from 98 support level. All right. So like I said, it's one to watch. It's going to present a fantastic trade opportunity. All right. Still going to present fantastic trade opportunity. All right. That's for the dollar index. Okay. Now moving on to Euro USD. Moving on to Euro USD. Okay, before I come here, of course, if the dollar index has been in a downtrend, you can expect that the Euro USD, of course, is in an uptrend. It's essentially the inverse of the dollar index. Okay, so the Euro USD has been showing strong bullish momentum. Say, been showing strong bullish momentum, and the uptrend appears to be continuing this week. Okay, appears to be continuing this week, and if you look at the price action for the most part of last week, we got this incredible 2-day rally. This should be March 10 and 11. Okay, sorry, April 10 and 11. You see these two long green candles right there. Okay, so after this bullish momentum, okay, this 2-day incredible rally delivered over 500 pips. Check it, delivered over 500 pips. And after that we got some consolidation. Okay, let me switch to the 4 hours time frame so it's clear. After the bullish move, we got some consolidation phase right there. Right, we saw some sideways movements, all right? So some consolidation phase. And although the uptrend is still pretty much intact, the current level may not be the most ideal point for a long entry, okay? And from this level now, waiting for pullbacks, waiting for some correction, and then joining the trend would be a much better approach, okay? Be a much better approach. It has been pretty much aggressive, and you don't want to be jumping in at this very high price. So the ideal thing would be to wait for some correction and then look for an ideal entry opportunity for the uptrend, all right? Because it's in an uptrend, what it simply means is that we are, as much as possible, looking for opportunities to buy, okay? We're looking for opportunities to buy, all right? So, and that means we'll be looking to buy at support, all right? We're looking to buy at support levels. For a downtrend, of course, we're also looking for opportunities to sell, and that means we'll be selling at resistance levels for as many times as we have that. And then again for the Euro USD, there's something interesting that is happening or that I saw. It's visible on the monthly time frame. It's visible on the monthly time frame. Now, of course, I've mentioned this multiple times that as a day trader, we're really not paying much attention to the weekly or the monthly time frame. All right. And the simple reason is because those two time frames, weekly and monthly, they are so far out, they're too far out that they really don't have much relevance to our trading, all right, as day traders, weekly and monthly time frame. As important as they are in getting some perspectives, as day traders, we're really not interested in them, again, because they are too far out and they don't have much relevance to our trading, all right? Let me give you an example, all right? Imagine if you're trying to spy on someone, let's say your neighbor, that of course lives beside you, and then of course you can simply use a ladder. You will simply use a ladder to check out what your neighbor is doing since you're interested in spying. But imagine instead of using a ladder, you now use maybe a spaceship, all right? What happens is you are now so far out that you can even hardly see your neighbor because you have decided to use a spaceship instead of a ladder to give you the view that you require, all right? So if you use a spaceship, you are now so far out that you can hardly see your neighbor, all right? So that's the same thing for the weekly and the monthly time frames. They are so far out that they don't have much relevance to our trading, okay? I hope you got that and it helps. All right, having said that, hold on. Interestingly, we are on the Euro USD right now. Okay. All right. So the daily time frame is the best place to start. All right. Daily time frame is the best place to start. And uh, on this chart, we can determine the trend. We can determine important support and resistance levels. Okay. So the daily time frame is like our anchor chart where the main analysis is carried out. And then you can now tune down to a much lower time frame for entry opportunities. Okay. So back to what I wanted to point out on the monthly time frame. Okay. Now from here, this is from uh, May of 2008. All right. This is May of 2008. This level acted as resistance for price. I have this descending trend line here. Okay. Another attempt towards that trend line right here. Then another one right here, another one right here. So this descending trend line has been consistent as resistance for price, all right, since 2008, all right? That is pretty much significant, all right? So recently, we now see a break above that trend line, all right? Price as it is right now, decisively taking out the trend line, all right? So what it means is that with this trend line, again, will now be acting as support for price for higher prices, all right? This is the perspective I wanted to point out on the monthly time frame. Again, don't forget, it's really not relevant to us as day traders, but we can use it, of course, to get some perspectives on the chart. Okay, so back to the daily time frame now. Back to the daily time frame, which is our anchor chart. On the daily time frame, we're looking for important levels of support or resistance. All right, we're looking for important levels of support or resistance. All right, we can also use it to determine the trend, and then we can tune down to a much lower time frame for entry opportunities. Okay, for entry opportunities. All right. Now, on the daily time frame now, on daily time frame, price has now hit this resistance at 1.15300. Okay, has now hit this resistance at 1.15300. All right. Now, again, this is the trend line that I showed us on the monthly time frame. This trend line right here. It's the one I showed us on the monthly time frame. All right. Even on this daily time frame, you can see how price took out the trend line right here, and then we got a retracement back to the trend line. It gave us bullish engulfing, and then straight up from there. Okay, it has now found resistance at 1.153. Okay, that's now found resistance at 1.153. All right, now moving forward, again, this is quite extensive, or it has been extended, this bullish move, right? It has now found resistance at 1.153, all right? Now, at this resistance, you don't want to be buying, okay? Even though we have a structure for an uptrend. What that means, we're looking for opportunities to buy. However, because it has just hit a resistance, it's not the most ideal point to buy. Okay, so what you want to do, this is the daily time frame now. This is the daily time frame. I started from the monthly time frame to show us the perspective that I have for the euro dollar, and then we're now back to our anchor chart, which is the daily time frame to get important levels of support and resistance, all right? And then to also understand the trend right on this daily time frame. Okay, so like I said, that's now found resistance at 1.153. Okay, which is also quite significant. So from this level now, you can expect some retracement. Okay, you can expect some retracement from this resistance. Okay, now don't forget there is a term that I've mentioned to us on this forum several times as well, which is a fake out, all right? And uh, I've said that a fake out occurs when price breaks a significant level only to close back below or above the significant level. All right, especially if it's happening on a higher time frame. Now, this might be, I will not say this might be a potential fake out setup. All right, it's one of my favorite ways of trading. All right, so what that would mean for Euro USD is this. Okay, now we're using this same trend line. Now let me go back to monthly. You should be able to replicate this trend line on your chart. Okay, you should be able to replicate this trend line on your chart. Now this is monthly time frame. Okay, let me take it out. Let me take it out first. All right, and then starting from this high on the monthly chart, starting from this high, all you need to do is connect as many points as you can. Okay, say you should connect as many points as you can. All right, so we have that. Then I'm going to adjust it so it looks really good. Okay. All right, so back to daily time frame now. Back to daily time frame. All right, on the daily time frame, we have our trend line right here. Have our trend line right here. The same. So the way this was set up for a fake out is, remember I said a fake out occurs when price breaks a significant level, and this trend line, of course, is a significant level. All right, because price has tested it multiple times since 2008. Price has been unable to close above that trend line until now. Okay, right, since 2008, you say resisted price, and then until now, we now see a break above that trend line. Okay, so that makes this trend line a significant for price. All right, so the way the fake out is going to set up for this is if we now see a move back inside of that trend line, we now see a move back inside of that trend line. What that would mean is that the whole of the price level here would now be a fake out, all right? That is a breakout that failed, okay? A breakout that failed. Ideally, price has broken above the trend line, and then ideally we're supposed to continue to see series of higher lows and higher highs, all right? We should see series or continue to see series of higher lows and higher highs, all right? But if that fails to happen and instead we see price pull back inside of this trend line, then the whole of the price here will be a fake out. And fake outs like this usually present an aggressive move in the opposite direction. All right. And then imagine the loads of pips that will be packed inside of this move by the time it plays out as expected. All right. However, again, if price takes out this resistance, then it's going to become support, and then we can expect higher prices for Euro USD. Okay. I've taken my time to really explain this because it plays out is going to be really fantastic. It's one that I'll be watching very closely to see what happens here for trade opportunities. All right, for trade opportunities. Okay, so that's it for Euro USD. If you have any questions here on this Euro USD, we want to make it known now so we can address it very fast. He said, thank you for joining us. Adeyemi Oladeko, DE40. Okay, we'll get there in a second. Angel, it's Euro USD. It's Euro USD. Ayo, okay, I hope you have some clarity now on Euro USD. Hope you have some clarity now on Euro USD. All right. Moving on to Pound USD, very similar to Euro USD, has also hit a resistance at 1.34240. Okay. It's also hit a resistance at this current level. All right. You can see what happened here previously. Price got to, in the midst of this uptrend, price got to this resistance at 1.34240, and then got bearish, all right, from that level. Okay, right about now, price has also pushed back to that same resistance level at 1.34240, all right, and then can also expect, all right, by way of technical analysis, can also expect this same move from this current level. Okay, what would invalidate this would be a break above this resistance. All right, what would invalidate this would be a break above that resistance for pound USD. All right, so from the current level, now mind you, this is an uptrend. Okay, the uptrend is pretty much intact. All right, from this low now, we see series of higher lows and higher highs all the way to 1.34240. All right, now from this resistance, we can expect some correction. Okay, now, let's use the Fibonacci tool to measure the potential points for the correction. And what that simply means is that the Fibonacci tool is right here. Say, draw Fibonacci retracement, all right? Pick it and then start from the most recent trends that you see on your chart. For me, on this pound USD, it's from this swing low to this swing high, all right? And that's why I'm going to draw from here. And the swing low, I drag all the way up to this swing high, all right? And then all these lines here are potential retracement levels for this asset, especially the 50% level, the 50% level, especially the 50% level right here and the 61.8% level, okay? Here, the numbers are right here on the right side, all right, of the Fibonacci tool, okay? So potentially, all these lines, all right, all these horizontal lines have the potential to act as support for price, all right? But especially the 50 level and the 61.8% level, all right? So I'm going to take out the Fibo tool, right? And then we have our points, 1.30690 for 50% and 1.29796 for the 68%. Now we can also see how the 50% level coincides with the previous high that was formed here, right? So we push to this high and then we got some retracement and we have a new high, all right, which has now hit a new resistance at 1.34240. Okay, so from this level now, we also expect a retracement. Also expect a retracement. All right, just like we got here. Also expect a retracement from this current level. All right. Now for that retracement for scalpers, it will mean that it will get some potential sell opportunities. All right, to take advantage of that retracement. So on 1 hour time frame, we already have a double top, and then we're also seeing a bearish engulfing candle at that resistance. Okay. All right, this is what it looks like on 30 minutes. Price hits that resistance. Here we got a bearish Aramic candle. All right, got a bearish Aramic candle. Looking very interesting. Okay. US 100, okay, get to it hopefully. So I'm taking my time to explain this. taking my time to explain this because of the opportunity that I expect these two assets to present. Okay. When you see sharp drops like that, it usually as a result of fundamentals, we see sharp drops like that. But hopefully we get to it so that you can be rightly advised whether to close or to hold. Okay, gold, get to it. AUD USD. Okay. Now, before AUD USD or the rest of the assets that we have mentioned, USD card. If you remember, USD card is one that we have also talked about multiple times for obvious reasons. Okay. Number one, I highlighted how for about 2 years, price ranged think it was from 2022, right here, you see, from 2022 to sometime in 2024. Okay, for about 2 years, you see this consolidation moving from resistance to support to resistance to support and on and on, and on until price broke above the resistance line right here. Okay, yeah, price broke above the resistance and then came back to retest it as support, give us a bullish engulfing candle, and then got really bullish from that point. Okay. Fast forward to this period, we also saw some consolidation right here. Okay. Also saw this sideways movement. All right. Now, I remember saying to us that the longer a consolidation phase lasts, all right, the more aggressive the resulting breakout would be. Okay. And if this lasted 2 years, you can imagine the resulting breakout. Of course, give us about close to 1,000 pips right there, close to 1,000 pips. Okay. And then you also see this consolidation phase right here. So see this consolidation. All right. And then so far it broke to the support side, broke below the support, and then so far that's delivered about close to 500 pips. All right, close to 500 pips. Okay. Now, what is also significant here is the fact that during this 2 year consolidation phase right here, during this 2 year consolidation phase here, the resistance, all right, the resistance of that consolidation was at 1.387. Okay, this price level here. So eventually, price broke above 1.387, broke above 1.387, we tested it as support, and then all the way up from there. Right about now, price is now back below 1.387. Say now back below this 1.387. So right now, this thing 1.387 is now acting as resistance for price. All right. Of course, no doubt this is in a downtrend. All right. No doubt it's in a downtrend. And then we have resistance at 1.387. So in a downtrend, what it also means is that we're looking for opportunities to sell. Okay. We're looking for opportunities to sell. All right. That's for USD card. That's for USD card. And then one more before I get to the assets that we have. One more from me. And that one would be NZD-USD. NZD-USD. It's also one that I've pointed out multiple times for this reason, the significance of 0.555 support level. If you have been following this forum, it's one that we have mentioned multiple times that it's very significant, all right? And you'll see why in a minute. I'm going to highlight it yet again, all right? Now, this is 0.555, and then let's look back to what we have for 0.555 in the past, okay? All right, right here, back in 2022, acted as support, and then we got that bullish move. Back in 2020 as well, 0.555 acted as support, and then that bullish move from there. think we have one now. Okay, that's it. That's it. Back in 2020 and then 2022 right here. Okay. And then fast forward to this recent retest of 0.555 happened beginning of January, say beginning of this year, rather 2025. C price returned to 0.555. The same thing in February returned to 0.555. Same thing here in April returned to 0.555. So as it is, since that 2020, all right, that I showed us, price has been unable to close below 0.555. And yet again, from 0.555, we see another bullish move from that critical support level. All right. This one gave us a bullish engulfing candle from this major support level. We have a small red candle, then we have a long red candle that has fully engulfed the red candle, all right? Bullish engulfing, and then this has been pretty much fantastic, all right? So far, it's delivered over 400 pips, all right? Over 400 pips, very fantastic. And then, interestingly, this is still quite fresh. It's still quite fresh, still has room to go. And this is NZUSD, all right? Now, for what it also means is that for this to continue to push higher, USD continue to be bearish, all right? Continue to be bearish because we have NZD as the base currency right here. Okay, now let me get to our own instruments now. Not so far. Start with DE40. DE40 is from who? Victor. All right, Victor. Let's see what we have. Okay, what's happening here? Currently below the 50 period moving average. Someone was asking earlier, this is the properties. Period is 50, method is exponential. Of course, we apply to close, okay? So currently it's below the 50 period moving average, all right? And then came into this support area between 19,781 and 19,000, all right? Came into this support area and then received some correction in the midst of this downtrend from this high at 23,330, all right? Price pushed lower to this support area, and right about now we're seeing some correction. This is the daily time frame, all right? Again, we use the daily time frame as our anchor chart to get important levels, okay? To get important levels, all right? Important support and resistance levels. We can then tune down to a much lower one for entry opportunities, all right? Now, this is the daily time frame. What we have there is that price came back to this support area, then it got bullish from that point. Now let's tune down to a much lower one, say 1 hour. Okay. Okay, on 1 hour time frame, we have this support. We have this support. Then we also have this resistance on the 1 hour time frame. All right, you can see how price is moving sideways in between this support and resistance. All right, so to a large extent, which it breaks out to determine what happens moving forward. All right. Currently, we have a consolidation phase on our hands, consolidated between 21,536 and 21,120. Okay. This is it on 30 minutes. This is on 30 minutes. Okay. See this consolidation, right? See this consolidation. Currently, it's below 50 period moving average, but we have a consolidation on our hands. All right. So what this means is that if we see a break to the downside or see a break to the upside, what it is right now, this is acting as support around price level 21, 120, and then we have resistance around 21, 536 for the German index. All right. Next, we have US 100. Let's see what we. All right. No doubt the indices suffered pretty much lately based on uh, talks about tariff trade war that we currently have going on. Okay, stocks suffered, and then in times of economic uncertainty such as this, traders, investors tend to flock to gold as a safe haven, and that's why we're also going to look at what's happening in gold. But even without looking at it, we have uh, an aggressive extended bullish move, all right? And then what it also makes is that we're looking for opportunities to buy on correction, to buy on dips. That's where gold, by the way. This is US 100 right now, all right? Again, similar to the German index, all right? Similar to the German index, these two, in the midst of this downtrend, we've seen series of lower highs and lower lows, which found support at around 17,346. Okay, found support around 17,346. Okay, and then pushed higher. Now we see a retracement. Okay. Now, of course, no doubt this is setting up as an uptrend. We've seen this bottom, we've seen this low, we see this high, and then potentially we have a higher low, which is still in play. All right, which is still in play. This is during time frame. What that also means is that at the end of this time frame, if we get a bullish pattern, then we can expect price to push even higher from the current level. Okay. Now on 1 hour time frame. Yeah, this is what we have on 1 hour time frame. For that pullback that we see here from this support now, we see a push higher. All right, we see a push higher to that resistance at 19,500, and then we got a higher low. Okay, we got a higher low. Now, ideally, if this is going to set up as an uptrend, what it means is that from this higher low, we expect to see a new high. All right, we expect to see a new high. Okay, so what is important here is that this stays intact as support. Okay, it is important here. What is important here is for this level to be intact as support, all right? And then you can see what push to the upside from this support level, okay? In the event that price closes below this support, if price takes out this support, you see it close below that support, all right? Then you see a further push to this support. And then if price also takes out the support, then potentially it will be the beginning of a bearish continuation. All right, it will be the beginning of a bearish continuation for US 100. All right. So for here, what we need to look out for is what happens at the support. Currently, and potentially, we're seeing some bullish patterns. Of course, this is the daily time frame. A lot can still happen before the end of today. Okay, so with that in mind, switch to the 1 hour time frame. We switch to the 1 hour time frame. Again, this is the support level that we highlighted on daily. This right here is the support level that we highlighted on daily. So what it means is that this level needs to hold as support, all right? Needs to hold as support for price to push higher, all right? If price takes out this level, then we have some more push to the downside. Price takes out the support, all right? So for this move that we're seeing to the downside, we may expect it to come back to the support, all right? Expect it to come back to the support. Yeah, right there that we highlighted on the daily time frame. So moving back to the 1 hour time frame now. So we may expect price to come back to its first level as support and then get bullish from that support. Okay. And of course, for scalpers, this will also be an opportunity to sell. Okay. For scalpers, this may also present an opportunity to sell all the way to that support as we expect. Right, that's for US fund rates. We hope you got that. Okay, now let's look at gold. So like I said, for gold, this has been pretty much aggressively bullish to say, all right? And then what it means is that, of course, we're looking for opportunities to buy, all right? Looking for opportunities to buy, okay? This is the daily time frame. Again, the daily time frame to get important key levels, such as this 3300 on the daily time frame, all right? This is 4 hours, and then we still have the 3300 level right here, 1 hour. This is what it looks like for 1 hour. You can see how the 300 here supported price, and then it pushed higher from that point. Okay, again, on this chart now, let's apply Fibonacci. This is the most current trend we have on the chart. Okay, from this swing low to this swing high. All right. Now, reason we're using Fibo here is to get retracement levels. All right, so that we can join this uptrend that we currently have. Okay, the price is already really high. Don't want to be buying at such a high price, right? And then that's why we need some correction, need some pullbacks to have a decent entry opportunity right here. Okay, so the most current trend I have, this used to be resistance, price took it out, returned to it as support, and then became bullish from that point. Okay, so this is the beginning of the most recent uptrend that we have, and currently this is the end right now, all right? So each of these line, again, has the capacity to act as support for price, okay? So first, we're looking at this level of support. Then next would be this level, and next would be 50, and then 16.8, okay? So for this push that we currently have to the downside, I'll be looking at towards this level as my support. Okay. So eventually, if price hits this level as support, I also need to stay a confirmation that price is set to continue to push higher from this support. All right. That's why your candlesticks come into play. You need some basal patterns at this support level. Because if you don't see it here, then it has the potential to break below that support and then come to the next one. Again, if you don't see any bullish patterns right here, then it has the potential to come to 50 or even 61.8. A break below 61.8 would mean that this is no longer an uptrend on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, so that's it for gold. That's what I need to see in order to trade this. Again, I'm looking at these levels as 24. First, 23.6 has the price here, 3446, 3447, approximately. Then I have the next one at 34.70. Then I have the next one at 33.93 as well. Okay, these are the important key levels I'll be looking out for in order to buy gold. Euros CHF, AUD USD, Euros CHF, and then we call it a day, all right? AUD USD. AUD USD, what do we have? Um, 0.637 and then 0.62. Okay, that's the consolidation. All right, that's the consolidation. We got a spike here. We got a spike to around 0.593. Got a spike to the downside here, around price level 0.593. And then from that point, we see this aggressive move back up. All right. So we got this consolidation phase, and right now prices has broken above the resistance. All right. So currently, this level is acting as support for price 0.637. All right. It's acting as support for price. Okay. So for this uptrend now, or for this bullish move rather, doesn't really look like an uptrend as yet. For an uptrend, we would need to see at least one cycle of high, higher low, and higher high before we confirm an uptrend. As it is right now, we're seeing this bullish move. We expect a correction that would form the higher low, then a bullish continuation. Now, this is the daily time frame. Back to a lower one, stay 1 hour. Okay, see another resistance at 0.645, right? 0.645. All right. So what we need to see here is the end of this correction, the end of this current pullback that we have. And then I'll be looking towards this level because of the confluence of support that we got here. All right. I'll be looking towards that level. So as it says right now, I expect price to come to this area, right? For me to take buys from that level, all right? I need price to come into this area and then for this level to also hold as support for me to take buys from that level, okay? And then Euro CHF, Euro CHF, where are you? Not sure I have it on my charts back here. Okay. All right. For Euro CHF, uh, we got these spikes previously. Got these spikes. This happened sometime in 2024, August, and then towards the end of November, also got yet another spike to the downside, and then got bullish from there. Fast forward to this period, April, this current month, price came back to that area as well. And then currently we're seeing this bullish move from that level. Okay, we're seeing this bullish move from that level. All right. Now this is daily time frame again. I our anchor chart. We're trying to get important key levels here that we can tune down to a much lower one for entry opportunities. Okay. So here, okay. Okay, so on this 1 hour time frame now, here we have resistance. Okay, here we have resistance around 0.932. Served as resistance here, right here as well. And now that price has broken above it, we expect this level to now act as support for price. Okay. Expect this level to now act as support for price. So what that also means is that we need some bullish patterns at this support level. Okay. We need to see bullish patterns at this support levels. In the event that that fails, meaning that we now see a close back below the resistance, all right? We now see a close back below support. Initially it was resistance, and then here it was resistance, right here was resistance, and then the mini price closed above it, all right, and stayed above it. It became support, all right, became support. So at this support now, at around 0.93, if we see bullish patterns from this support, all right, then that would confirm that this is going to further push higher, okay? However, if what we get is a close back below the support, all right, that would signal weakness, and then maybe the beginning of a further fall to the downside for Euro CHF, right? For Euro CHF. Eddie, I hope you got that. That's what you need to look out for on this chart for opportunities to either long or short, as we currently are, depending on how it plays out eventually. All right. Yeah. So on today's edition of the morning market review, this is where we draw the curtain. We've been able to look at quite a number of assets, especially the expectation that we have for Euro USD and Pound USD. Moving forward, I expect that this, or I believe, in my opinion, that these two assets will present fantastic trade opportunities for reasons that I highlighted earlier. All right. We also have other ones that we can also watch out for trade opportunities for today and even the rest of the week. All right. Thank you very much for joining us today. I wish us a great trading day. Right. Tomorrow, Wednesday, will be another edition of our Morning Market Review from 8 a.m. Do plan to join us again. Thank you very much. Have a great day.